Hi, this is Abe Washington. That ain't even tells like it to your ears. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Topic I'm going to talk to you today about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 14, the renew. It started off with Drew and Cynthia in their bedroom talking, and Cynthia was saying, well, Drew, from last night, it seems like it seems like you and Porsha is getting along. Y'all getting along better than what y'all was before, and stuff like that, and stuff like that. She said, she said, she said, but Cynthia, what it was, me and Portia, I wouldn't say me and Portia are going to be best of friends, but I do say we making strides, we working on it. So, and don't you think that's a good thing, Portia? Don't you think that's a good thing, Drew? Drew said, yeah, but Drew said Portia didn't want to acknowledge or accept the part that she had in it. Portia, Portia wanted to just say that it was me working with Dennis. That's why she had issue with me. But she turned around and did the same thing. Well, what about her having lunch with Ralph? She didn't want to talk about that issue. What about that issue? What do you think about that, Cynthia? Cynthia said, well, Drew, I look at it like it's tip for tap, tip for tap. And she said, tip for tap. She said, no, it was no tip for tap. She said, I called Portia, I text Portia. Portia was busy. Portia wanted to, but she went behind my back and went and had lunch with Ralph, her and Shamea. And I was saying, I agree with some of the fans. Cynthia does so much flip flopping and table turning and all kinds of stuff like that. That that does not make any sense. Drew was right. Shamea and Porsche set that up, and Porsche went through Shamea to do it on the pretense that they was trying to have a podcast. And like you said on Watch What Happens Live when in some of my interviews, where's the podcast? Ain't no podcast yet. That was a setup. Like she said, Dennis actually do have a project. She have a record out, an album out, and she's been promoting it from the time it came out. So that was no tip for tap, and that let me know that some of the stuff that Nene was saying when she was off the show about Cynthia was a flip flopper, and you gotta watch Cynthia. You do have to watch Cynthia because Cynthia is one of those people that like to go along to get along, and she know Portia was wrong for doing that. And then it switched to the next scene, and the next scene was and Kelli talking talking in the room, and she said, yeah, Shamea, how is everything going? Everything going all right? She said, yeah, everything was all right, but I didn't like the way things were happening between you and Drew. That's what Kelli was saying, and and Shamea was saying, I wouldn't have a problem with her, but she called me a lapdog. Never made me have a problem with you, dog. She said that's why I want to have the lunch and brought the crystal because I want you and Drew to get along. You and Drew to get along, and then right after that, Shamea got a call and it was her husband. He said, how everything going, Shamea? Everything going all right? She said, yeah, everything going all right. Everything going just fine, Gerald. How is the kids? He said, the kids all right. Everything good. She said, I want to let you know that they lost my luggage at the airport. He said, lost your luggage. He said, did you get them to trace it? She said, yeah, they're gonna trace the luggage. She said, but what it is, Portia gonna loan me a couple of her outfits. She said, oh, okay, bye. So yeah, they all went into the kitchen. Brit Brit and Phaedra and Porsha was already in the kitchen, and then Shamea and Kel came in the kitchen, and they were all in the kitchen, and then Angela came down also with Drew, and then so and then so and then so Brit was Brit was saying, Shamea, I didn't like the way that you was talking to me last night at the party. And she said, talking to you. She said, yeah, the way you was talking to me and stuff. And then Shamea said, well, you was acting all defensive, and that's why I was talking to you like that. She said, no, I wasn't acting defensive. You was acting all aggressive and bullying toward me. And she said, no, I didn't. He said, I don't have to hear this. I don't want to hear it. I don't have to hear this. I don't want to hear it. And they got to argue. And then Kelly said, let's go. The bus is out there. We got to go. And then Kelly said in that confessional, yeah, we split the girls up. We split the girls up because we want the girls to be with whoever they like and whoever they like. I was saying, nah, y'all split them girls up like that. So they had Shamea, Porsha, Phaedra, and and uh and yeah, and Shamea all in one car, and then the other car had Angela, Brit, Drew, and Kelli, because they all went to the cookout, and so they showed them riding in the car, and so and so and so Cynthia said, Portia, it seemed like you and Drew worked out y'all issues. Seemed like y'all getting along. Seemed like y'all could go back to being friends again, y'all friendship. Portia said, I wouldn't say it like that. And then she kind of gave Cynthia the side eye and said, well, I wouldn't say it like that. And what I will say, it is what it is, and I'm over it. You ain't over it. You just mad because every time you tried to come at you, Drew, she had a good comeback for you, and you thought Drew was an easy target, but you found out quick, fast, in a hurry that you are no match for Drew, portion. So that's the only reason why you let it go because you realized Dennis was gonna do whatever he was gonna work. He was gonna work with he was gonna work with you regardless of what you say. So that's why you got over with Portia. Because you looked at that and you also looked at the money behind it. But anyway, on to the next scene. And after that, they showed they showed they showed Junior in the car, and they was talking about what happened, went on, and what's called. And so Drew was saying, I don't know why everybody keep telling me I'm the one that have an issue with everybody in the group, but I'm the one that have an issue with Shamea, and I'm the one who have an issue with Portia. I don't have an issue with Portia or Shamea. They have issues with me, especially Portia. I had nothing to do with it. He said, well, that's why I brought the Christmas, because I want everybody to get along and stuff. He said, oh, we have a destination. So when they got the destination, uh, uh, Portia said, ooh, look at that little monkey. And then Phaedra said, ooh, I don't like nothing about no monkeys. I don't want no monkeys nowhere around me, nothing about no monkeys. He said, ooh, look at these little animals. He said, ooh, I don't want to be nothing around no animals. Come on, let's go, let's go. And so they went by the waterfall, and they all had their bathing suits on and stuff. And they got up under the waterfall, and they were swimming and stuff. And Cynthia and Phaedra kind of over to the side, and then Portia said, "Ooh, this pretty scenery, and it looked good." And then and Phaedra said, "Yeah, that waterfall going down, it looks so peaceful, so peaceful." And Shamea told me, that's what I'm talking about, peaceful, to get away from all the drama. That's why we want to start this trip, me and Kelly, to relax, relate, and renew. And so she said, "Ooh, I look good in this bathing suit. I look like Kelly Rowland, and I'm more tired of virgin in the music video." I said, "Girl, you wish you did look like a Kelly Rowland, Shamea. You pretty, but you don't look like Kelly Rowland." And so it's to the cooking scene, and the top chef said that they had that the black restaurant they work out of is 100% black owned. They had a little flooding thing, and then one of the cooks said that he lost all of his housing and stuff, so he had to start over. And Kelly said, "Ooh, that is so sad. That's why we decided to get some donations to bring down to Grenada to help." She was telling that cook that he said that was good. And then he brought out some kind of I don't know what it's called, some kind of sausage or hot dog meat or whatever. And then so everybody said, "Oh, that's how you cook it. That's how you cook it." Said, "Yeah." And Drew said at confession, "It should have been a little bit bigger than that for me. You know, I like big size." So I said, "Drew, you need to sit down and calm down a little bit." So they got to eating and stuff, and they really liked the cooking thing, and then went back. And so while they was sitting down eating. That's when that's when that's when Kelly said, Drew, you you did seem to have a problem with everybody. You and Porsha, you and Shamea. I just want you and Shamea to get along and stuff like that. That's why I brought y'all on a trip. Because she said, I keep telling you I don't have no trip. And she said, oh, here come the car. And they all went back to the restaurant. And they all went back to the hotel. And they said, oh yeah, don't nobody be late because the prime minister is coming. And Portia gonna say when she got out of the car, I'm not gonna be the one late. I might be late, but you be later than me. I said, girl, every time you open your mouth, you talking about you. And I said, girl, get over it, get over it, Portia. Find somebody else name to talk about. And so everybody was all getting ready to go meet the prime minister. And right before they got ready to meet the prime minister, they had a lunch. And while they were sitting at the lunch eating, and then Kelly said, "Did everybody have a good time at the islands and where they went to?" And Drew said, "Oh yeah, I had a good time at the cookout. We had a good time at the cookout with the chef and stuff." And then Portia said, Portia said, "I really had a good time too at the waterfall and swimming and stuff like that. We all had a good time." And then Kelly said, "Yeah, that's what I want. I want all us to have a good time and enjoy ourselves and stuff like that." So while Drew was sitting down waiting on our food like everybody else, she was looking at her plate. And then when she looked up, here comes Kelly with some kind of little black cow saying, "Do you remember this, Drew?" You said, "Huh? What? You remember this?" She said, "Oh." She looked at the black cow and said, "Oh, you talking about black, huh?" "Yeah, I just want to know what's going on." And she said, "Ain't nothing going on with me and black. Ain't nothing going on with me and black." She said, "Me and black are just friends." She said, "But I thought you said you was dating." She said, "Yeah, I am dating. I do go on a couple of dates with different people." And she said, "But black is just really my friend." And Kelly gonna tell her permission. One minute she's saying black is her friend. The next minute she's saying she's going out on dates. How can you go out on dates and be married and your husband living in the basement? I couldn't do it. I'm saying, Kelly, you such a big liar and a flip flop trying to call you a lie on the slide. You a lie and stuff like that. That's why you say she just dating because she don't want nobody saying that and she don't want rap using that against her. But what she claiming that Drew is doing, Drew said rap is doing it right in front of her face, right in front of her kids. So I think it was one of them podcast videos. I think it was the Poor Minds of Angelia, one of them. She said the kids, the one that did at the school. Anyway, I'll get back to that when I do the other video. But yeah, and so she said, "Oh yeah, we gotta go now for the prime minister." And then Drew said that question, "Why does everybody want to know what I'm doing on my sex life?" Like I said, if I had a man that would treat me right and do me well, I let y'all know. I'll cry out to the mountaintops up here. I said, you probably would, because they sure would. And I agree with you. It's just like every episode, and you could tell that's the main reason why they want to do to come on this trip, to be on this trip, so they can keep on, badgering Drew. What it is, Drew is handling them left and right, and so got to everybody getting ready, everybody getting dressed. Shamea came down in that yellow suit with that belly out in that dress and stuff. So Cynthia and Brit Cynthia and Brit were in the like kitchen area, and everybody else came in. So Drew came in from the back. Here come Phaedra with her shady butt. Everybody looked good but Drew. And Drew got on that sheet and stuff. I said, "There ain't no sheet and stuff." I said, "You copping out for all the rest of these ladies because Porsha got a problem with her. You gonna have a problem with Drew." And so everybody looked good. And somebody said, "What's going on with you, Cynthia? We all look, cool, casual. What you got on with this black sequin dress and splitting?" She said, "Well, maybe I thought I was going to Soul Train. Well, I mean, not Soul Train, BET." And so I said, "Well, yeah." Yeah, I said, "Well, yeah, they do something similar to that." And so uh, uh, Shamea went in the kitchen and she was saying, y'all ain't gonna have no drinks. Y'all ain't gonna have no drinks. Y'all ain't gonna have no shots. And Cindy said, "No, I don't." She said, "No, I probably gonna drink something at the, at the thing, at the dinner." And then Brit said, no, for what happened to me the other night, I really don't want to try no shots. Well, I'm gonna get back to what the shots do to get. But anyway, uh, she said, well, people talking about they want shots. People say they don't want shots. I ain't trying to make nobody take no shots or nothing. If you want a shot, you want a shot. And then Brit said, uh, are you talking to me, Shamea? Shamea said, I'm talking to whoever gonna want no shots. I'm not making my. She said, well, I was the only one said that I didn't want a shot right now because we were going. I was kind of like Cynthia. So you actually got this energy. What's going on with you, Shamea? Shamea said, ain't nothing going on with me, but she said, it is. She said, it is. You coming to me all aggressively again. Say, I'm not coming at you all aggressively. They got to going back and forth. And and then and then Brit said, I just want to find out what the issue is with me, Shamea. I thought me and you were cool. She said, I ain't got time for this. And then Kelli said, yeah. And then she said, oh, the prime minister will be coming. Kelli said, yeah, the prime minister coming. And then showed things where the prime minister motorcade was coming up. And so he came out and introduced himself to the ladies and sat down. And then here comes Phaedra. Yeah, this would be right up Porsha's alley. Porsha could be the next prime minister's wife, the next prime minister's wife. And then Drew said, ooh, I could be a prime minister's wife. And then Andrew said, ooh, Kelli would make a good prime minister wife. Kelli said, I would make a good prime minister wife too. And I was saying, Kelli and Drew might be more that man's star, but that man wouldn't want no stylish, wouldn't want no stylish Porsche. And then I had talked to my niece, I think a little bit before I made this video, and she said, yeah, Porsche gonna have a bad name over there in overseas. Because she said Simon probably got a lot of friends that's from Jamaica and from Grenada and stuff. They're gonna give her a bad thing. Porsche tried to get in and brought with the prime minister. And I was so glad the man told him that he had a wife and two kids because they was they was yodeling and yawning, looking at that man and stuff. And then Phaedra gonna say in a confession, yeah, these are the type of men Porsche like anyway. And then Kelli said, yeah, Porsche like anything that's not American. I said, you worried about that, Kelli? And stuff like that. And so after the prime minister left, they had their little dinner. And then so Brit said, if anybody at this table have a problem with me, speak now and let me know. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. Everybody got quiet for a minute. Nobody said nothing. And then Shamea said, well, well, like I said, people buy Birkin bags and be riding around and Mercedes Benz and all kinds of stuff buying Birkin bags, but then when it comes to donating to give for charity, they only give this little bit amount of stuff, a little bit amount of stuff. And she said, are you talking to me, Shamea? Shamea said, I'm talking about whoever did. She said, Shamea, I was the only one that ride around. She said, you're not the only one that ride around that got Birkin bags. And then Faith said, I got a Birkin bag and I got a car too. He said, but I'm just saying. And then so she said, what I'm saying is that people that have these lifestyles, they have these lifestyles, they should be able to give a little bit more than what they did. And she said, Shamea, I talked to you personally. I talked to you on the phone. Yeah, I talked to you personally. We've been in person. And you told me to give what I can give. And did you not say that? I said I did say that, but I'm saying, but if you say you got certain things, you should be able to give. And then Portia child, I'm not Portia. Then some Phaedra child in and say everybody should at least been able to give $1,000 donation plus whatever food they got. That's more than fair. And also, uh, Kelli gonna try to pretend she's taking up for Brit and say, well, if people don't know how much to give, well then maybe you do have to tell them. Maybe she didn't know, maybe she didn't know. And Brit said, no. She said, give what you want. And people saying, well, Brit ain't got the money she have. But I'm kind of on Brit's side. If you don't tell me, you just say just bring a donation and I bring a box of food, I bring something else. Don't turn around and put it in my face and say, well, Angela, you didn't give enough. If you told me to give what I can give, I gave you what I could give. Now I do agree with Shamea that she could have put a little bit more paper towels in there, maybe a couple more canned goods or something like that, make the box look full. That's what I would have done. make the box look full, but just giving 4 paper towels and burning the box, that's not it. And so what it is, she was saying, well, y'all just making a big deal out of donation. She said, no, we're not making a big deal out of donation. We're just saying, if you have to give and what you have to give. And Portia was saying, yeah, Brit, I think you should have gave a little bit more too. And she said, y'all been a little bit. And she said, Portia, what is your issue with me? And then she said, Brit, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. She said, what you mean I need to calm down? I'm talking to you, calm, Portia. What is your issue with me? And then Portia was saying, well, like I said, you should have keep trying to pretend she was taking up for some meal. Like we all said, you should have gave a little bit more, should have gave a little bit more and stuff like that. And then so she said, baby, she said, don't call me baby. Don't call me baby. This issue ain't over. She said, yes, this issue is over. And we over it. Then Portia said, let's go. We gotta leave. So they just jumped up and left out there. And all of them got back in the car. And then it was Phaedra, Drew, Angela, in the car. And then the other car had Porsha, Cynthia, Kelli, and Shamea. And and I think it was either on their way to the prime minister after the prime. Ooh, this video is too long. Now I'm gonna go and end the video after the prime minister part. Shamea got a call about the woman was not taking care of her baby, and then after that, Shamea got to crying, and which car did that fake apology like she wanted to be Shamea's friend, Brit and crying, and then Port said, "Ooh, let me pull up my shirt. I don't want my breast to be in your face." And I don't know if that signal thing to Brit, and Brit said, "Yeah, let's have a drink." And then Shamea got a little smile on her face because Portia said that. And I don't know what he did. Maybe Brit don't need to be drinking. She went over there and people thought she was gonna go over there and throw up because she had that little shot. She went over there and had that shot and he took that bra off and stuff. And I was saying you could tell that Brit was in that stripper video vixen, a side chick, kind of lifestyle like Mia. That's all I have for this video. This is Abe Wesley. That ain't even tilted like a TI is. I am out.